Hello, welcome to another episode of me talking about anything that comes to my mind in between my classes. And as you can see, today I didn't forget to bring my microphone so I can guarantee your mind with better quality voice. And here I am in another park of Szeged where I can talk about some things in my mind. In today's episode, I want to talk about something that we most of the time ignore, but always there in our life. And this is friendship, and not just the casual friendship that we encounter every day, not someone whom you can just say, "Hi, how are you doing?" No, we're going to talk something deep. And yes, I stopped the video because there were people passing by with loud noise and I didn't want to have that background in my video. Well, yes, today we will talk about that ignored topic of our life, adult friendship. Do we have such thing? Like, do we even think about whether we really have adult friendship in our life? We are surrounded by a lot of people when we are in preliminary school or when we are in secondary school even. We are always there with a lot of people around us, talking, supporting us, even if it's not that real. There were always people around us. And suddenly we turn it 20 something and our life becomes empty. Not something that you moved away or suddenly they left you. I wouldn't call that even leaving you. It's just everyone starts to have their own life together. And suddenly, everyday problems seems even more heavier. We feel deeper. Even slightest anger can turn into something which is called depression, especially when you are having your academic life. You think about everything that is going around, everything which is like giving you extra pressure, and all this, and no one to call and say, "Hey, I have got a problem. Can we meet up?" Yes, somewhere next year. The probable answer would be like that. Even if you manage to successfully appoint the time to meet, when you meet, suddenly the person who's sitting next to you or opposite to you is not the same person your mind saved it years before. Because it's life, people change. So do you, so do I, so do everybody else. However, reality hits hard and your heart feels heavier. You feel like you're alone out there in adulthood life because adulthood feels like a stage of life where you are never prepared to. Someone is getting married, someone is entering to the university, someone is getting a job, part-time job or full-time job, and here you are like battling your own wars and not having anyone else to support you. Of course, there is always our family member that we should always be thankful, but the strange thing about being adult, sometimes you don't want to talk about some topics with your family, not because you feel like you are gonna be judged by them, but because you don't want to tell your problems to them because you are already an adult person. You don't want them to be worried about you, right? I don't think like as an adult you want to call your mom and say, "Hey mom, today I have got a problem like this finance, or I have got problems in my academic life where I'm not passing some subjects, or I cannot do my home tasks on time," or anything that is struggling to you, might be even bigger struggle for them, for your parents, for your family members. So you just want to keep them to yourself. But keeping all things to yourself hurts even more. So what do we look for? We look for someone who can support us, and yeah, that is a friend we can go to whenever we have a problem. As someone who is 24 years old, as someone who has experienced it, friendship, friendship breakups, I can tell you that breakups hurt. Uh, like any type of breakup hurts, but friendship is on a different stage because someone who becomes your half, someone who just shares the same interest with you suddenly disappears, and not with anything big factor, not because you had arguments, no, just because life parted you away, just because you moved to different city to study, to different country, or you didn't move and that person moved away from you. I think we should talk about such topics a lot, especially to those teenagers who are going to pass teenage years and move to adulthood soon. These are the periods where we feel every emotion on a deep level with more care, and nobody prepares us. Come on, you were telling us what to do just years before. Even choosing a clothes on the shop store was something other people tell us, right? But no, nobody tells about some features of adulthood. And this is why I'm here talking about it. The question is, okay, so we know that friends can have breakup moments. How do we deal with this? Mm, will it be too harsh if I say there is no way? I mean, there is no tip that you can learn how to get over these friendship breakups. The reason why, because every individual has different character, and every individual um, like undergoes problems in a different way. They have their own escape system, you know, they have their own 10 tips uh, on what to do if they get hurt or if they have any problems. That's why I'm saying that there is no exact way to get over. However, there are different possible ways that you can use when you have such moments in your life. And I'm going to share based on my experience. And I have to say that this is nothing that can fit into everyone, but you can kind of adopt them into your own life. Imagine that you are experiencing a period of what is called friendship breakup, where you are an only adult in your life that you can tell your problems. You don't want your family members to get worried about you. You don't want to be seen weak to others. So you keep this mask on where you are always smiling, happy, and, all the time cool girl or cool boy, whatever. So what do we do? Well, most of the time, um, journaling helps. I mean, writing down your emotions, your current emotions, reflecting what you're actually feeling to a piece of paper. In my previous video, we talked that how writing is important for making our dreams come true, but writing is also important when it comes to rescue you, when it comes to keeping you sane from being crazy in this type of moments. So, journaling is the first way. You let everything out, you let every emotion out there in your mind through words to a piece of paper. And it helps you to actually analyze what is actually missing, like what is the real factor to make you feel like that. Are you feeling alone? Are you feeling worried about financial problems? If so, maybe you can, I don't know, like look for some part-time jobs. Or if it's about feeling alone, maybe you can have a 2 or 3 days off from your work and visit your family members and just get your energy back. So writing is like a map towards your um, tunnel tunnel to a lighter part of your life, to escape from these so-called dark moments. And the second way, well, in the second way, I think there is a fly going over, so that's why I'm doing such thing. Don't think that I'm being weird. I don't know why. It's like almost cold weather, but still there is fly flying around. So the second thing is probably gonna be, well, not so effective way, but at times when I feel like I'm being overwhelmed by my own emotions, um, I either go for a long walk. Believe me, walking does not only help you to lose weight, but also to lose uh, anger problems, anger issues, or any feeling related issues as well, because you will have time to reflect. So walking for a longer distance is my another way of reflecting myself. If you don't recognize, if you don't accept what are you feeling, what you are feeling, you will never get over it. So reflection is the most important part of healing. Let's call it like healing. Yeah, so walking for a longer distance is my second advice to uh, give yourself peace. And the third one, well, the third one is more of a like girlish, uh, let's say, advice, but I think my audience is mostly consists of girls. So anyway, I'm not male, so I don't know how boys feel during this period. But as as a female, as someone who knows how other girls also feel, my third advice would be crying. Yes, seems so strange, but I think crying also helps us to kind of recognize we cannot be to recognize the fact that we cannot always be perfect, we cannot always be strong or independent. We also need hug, we also need emotional hug to ourselves, from ourselves. So list all the saddest movies that you have ever seen and choose the most dramatic one that makes you cry instantly. Turn on the TV or turn on your computer, I don't know, whatever you watch, even on your phone. So turn on it, bring napkins, paper napkins, and alone in your own room without other people distracting you, because we don't want to be seen weak still, right? So in your dark room with your saddest movie on, you can somehow escape from reality to reflect on yourself. I mean, all this advice that I have given is somehow the escape system from the reality and to reflect, because that's how we deal with problems. If you constantly think about the problems, you will never find solutions. Sometimes escaping helps. Strange, but that's what it is. Sometimes you have to find spare time, cry, do something that makes you um, feel like yourself, and then come back to solve the problem with fresher mind, fresher soul. Yeah, that's my. There has been a pause because people were waiting for me to finish my video and they were trying not to be seen. So polite, right? So yeah, that's gonna be, I think, end to my video. Friends are a really important part of our lives, even when we turn to 20, even when we turn to 30, 40. I think we will always have this desire to have someone for us to call anytime we want. But this is life. We cannot always be available. Even us, realistically, cannot be always there for someone else because we have our own problems as an adult. Instead of thinking negatively about those friends of our life, of our um, friendship, I think it's better to look at them from another perspective, that they are also struggling, they are also surviving in their own life, and it's best if we learn how to heal ourselves and later connect to our friends for, I don't know, for later discussion of our problems when you and that friend have finally time to talk. So, if you're a teenager, if you're an adult, and if you're having this friendship crisis or breakup, I really advise you. There was a dog passing by, so I'm still afraid of dogs, even if they are tied up by their owner. So, if you're someone who is going through such moments, don't feel that you are alone. Don't feel that you are weak just because you're feeling these emotions on a deeper level. We are human. We are created to feel. And the difference between us and AI or a robot or any computer mechanism is because we feel, we reflect, and that's the beauty of being a human. Imagine that you don't feel any emotions. How dull and boring that life will be. We feel, that's why we survive, we try to improve ourselves. Never feel that you're alone, and try to understand your friends is also are also trying to connect with you, but life is not always on our side. Never ever feel that you are a weak person because you're feeling emotions on a deep level. I have been there, people have been there, people will be in that period. Just accept this and don't forget to hug yourself. Even a tap on your shoulder, even a good cry, even a walk, as I have said, on a long distance can bring your peace. Just be easy on yourself. And we're gonna talk about another topic in my next episode, so don't forget to turn on the notification. See you.